The coffee goes cold before you take a second sip. That's the detail you'll remember, not the spreadsheet glowing on the table. It's 11:52 p.m. and the apartment is completely silent except the fridge humming. You are 25, making $52,000 a year. You have $5,400 saved and $21,000 in student debt. There's also a credit card balance you've been circling for 3 years straight. Tonight, you decide something small that will sound unremarkable to everyone else. You're not quitting your job or moving to a cabin in the woods. You're deciding that money will finally move with a direction, not by accident. 65 cents of every dollar goes to debt or a low-cost index fund. The other 35 cents covers rent, food, and everything else in your life. You run the numbers 3 times because you don't trust yourself yet. At your current pace, real freedom arrives around age 58. At the new rate, it arrives at 35 instead. That gap isn't 10 years, it's an entirely different life. You close the laptop in the same room where you ate cereal that morning. Nothing around you has changed, but something inside you just did. 3 months later, your friend Tyler buys a new apartment downtown. Floor-to-ceiling glass, a gym with a skyline view, the kind of place people photograph. You stand at his housewarming eating good cheese, feeling strangely invisible. Nobody here is impressed by an index fund balance nobody can see. You've paid off $1,900 of debt in 11 weeks. You drive a used Honda Fit you bought outright for $8,400. It erased a car payment of $300 a month. No one at the party has ever once asked what you drive. Someone new does ask tonight, and you tell them the truth. There's a pause that lasts 1 second longer than it should. They nod politely and change the subject to something else entirely. This is the quiet cost nobody warns you about. 1,000 tiny silences. Friends stop asking if you want to split a vacation rental. Coworkers stop inviting you to the $40 Thursday happy hour. You keep the rule anyway, even though nothing proves it's working yet. Your brokerage account holds $4,100, which feels like nothing. But somewhere invisible, a gap has just started quietly opening. By year 2, every dollar of debt is finally gone. The final payment doesn't feel triumphant. It just feels like a hum switching off. You redirect that old debt payment straight into your investments immediately. No celebration, no upgraded lifestyle, just the money staying where it lands. A raise comes in month 14, worth $4,000 a year. Instead of upgrading anything, you raise your automatic transfer by 300. Every study on wealth says the same thing in different words. Consistent saving rate predicts long-term wealth better than clever investing ever does. By month 26, you have $19,000 invested, and no one claps. It doesn't photograph well. It doesn't have a housewarming of its own. Meanwhile, the market has quietly been compounding it while you weren't watching. Your friend Sam is 26, makes $49,000, and just financed a truck. The truck payment is $980 a month, plus insurance. Sam is proud of that truck, and you understand exactly why. You wanted the same thing once before you found these rules. From the outside, you and Sam look like you're living the same life. Same income bracket, same city, same friend group, same general age. Underneath the surface, something has already started to diverge completely. Compound interest, stripped of the poster quote language, is really just time. A dollar invested at 26 is worth far more than one invested at 36. Not because of luck, but because it simply has longer to work. You buy new tires for the Honda, $480, no guilt attached. Owning less clutter has started to feel like an actual physical relief. You are quiet, invisible, and still building something nobody can see yet. In year 3, something cracks, though the plan itself is working perfectly. It happens on an ordinary Friday evening in your clean, deliberately empty apartment. You feel, without warning, completely and specifically alone. You skipped your cousin's Vegas trip last month because the math bothered you. $600 spent now could be worth over $1,000 later if invested. So you stayed home while everyone else posted photos from the strip at 2 a.m. You put your phone face down and sit with an uncomfortable question. Are you building a future or just watching your own life from a spreadsheet? The social cost of these rules has been steady and quietly cumulative. Restaurants out of range, conversations you can't contribute to, a vocabulary you've stepped outside of. You call your mother and she asks if you're really doing okay. You say yes, but she knows you well enough not to fully believe it. Chasing financial independence in your 20s is a genuinely countercultural act. Every screen around you is built to make spending feel like maturity. Opting out doesn't feel neutral. It feels like quiet, uncomfortable dissent. You question the rules, the math, and the person they're turning you into. Then you check your brokerage account, and the doubt goes very quiet. The number staring back at you is $47,300. You've contributed for 33 straight months without missing a single one. The market dropped hard for a few weeks somewhere in the middle. You felt fear, did nothing, and that decision turned out to matter most. $47,000 built on a salary that never crossed $62,000. You're sitting in an apartment that costs exactly 24% of your take-home pay. Sam bought new rims for the truck last month, $1,800 on credit. They genuinely look great, and you tell him so, and you mean it. You also know that same money invested could be worth $12,000 at 45. The math isn't judgment, it's just a language you can't stop hearing now. Somewhere in year 3 or 4, the number stops feeling like a number. It starts feeling like actual, tangible, convertible units of future time. Your investments alone are quietly producing about $4,000 a year. That's roughly $390 a month, earned without lifting a finger. It's small, but it's the beginning of something that never really stops growing. The doubt from that Friday night hasn't vanished, but it's gotten much quieter. You raise your monthly investment again, automatically, before you can talk yourself out of it. 8 years in, you're 33, sitting in a coffee shop on a Tuesday. There's nowhere you have to be until 1 in the afternoon, and it's not a day off. This is simply what enough starts to feel like from the inside. Your brokerage account now holds $214,000. Your retirement account adds another $68,000 on top of that. Combined, that's over $250,000 in liquid invested assets. Your original number was never early retirement. It was $400,000. At that point, a modest withdrawal rate could safely cover $16,000 a year. Combined with part-time work you'd actually choose, survival stops depending on a paycheck. You're not there yet, but you can finally see the shape of it. The Honda now has 91,000 miles and has never once needed a payment. Run that math over 8 years, and the decision alone was worth 6 figures. Your rent has climbed to $1,450, still under your own ceiling. You still follow one thing out, not from discipline now, but from genuine preference. Sam bought a house last year, and the down payment took nearly everything he had. You went to his housewarming and felt something simple and uncomplicated, real pride. The comparison that used to sting has finally gone completely quiet. Arrival, it turns out, isn't a finish line you cross and stand on. It's the moment the future starts costing less than the present ever did. You order a second coffee and think about the version of you at 25. At 35, sitting in an ordinary room, you finally reach your real number. You stare at it with the same silence as that very first spreadsheet. What you thought was a money problem was actually something else entirely. Every rule was really one honest question asked again and again: what is this for? The car delivered transportation. The canceled subscriptions delivered nothing you'd truly miss. The raises you never spent went somewhere real, somewhere that keeps compounding quietly. The truth is simple and hard. The feeling of arrival was never something you could buy. It was always about who you were becoming, one quiet decision at a time.